Since the fall of Lucifer from heaven and abandonment of Adam and Eve from Garden of Eden, humanity has one characteristic through and through, and this is that we all want to be more than just normal. I mean, Lucifer was one of the highest angels and still wanted to be more. Eve was one of the most purest human being ever to exist, and yet she wanted to be more and add all knowing to it. And in the end, they all suffered the consequences. So I want you to imagine this. We are all born at one point, quite equal. We all have the same breathing systems and limbs for most of the parts. And yet we live in a society and hierarchical system where one can be born different than others. I think personally it's quite funny to pull this quote for me, because when we had this book in school, I didn't even read this. But I have to pull this one line from Animal Farm, which is basically saying that all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. I want to go back over to a setting I'm currently making, society. Throughout all of the decades, people wanted to be special and different. Today, becoming special is more accessible than ever. You just need to open the internet and work. Actually put in some time. That's why so many people want to become a YouTuber or Twitch streamer or be famous on Instagram, because it seems so easy and easy to access. We all have this inner diva in us and want to strive for empathy, strive for attention, which is nothing I want to criticize here. In fact, I do not want to criticize at all. I just want to point out some things, and what you're doing with it depends purely on yourself. I want to show two prime examples here that went to becoming very successful or a bit more famous than others, more normal than others, via extreme cases. My case number one will be Togi, and I think you know this man. He is called in real life Shane Stoffer, and he has the little twist. He went from a business major to gambling addict and also multi-millionaire over various times. The interesting part of the story is the rags to riches. I don't really know his background that much, and I'm assuming that he already had some money. But he went to being a multimillionaire, gambling it all away, becoming another time a multimillionaire, which is just insane. If it's just via dumb luck or actually skill, is something that I can't tell. But he posted all of these things on YouTube and became very successful with it. Many people are watching it or have watched it because it is super different from what normal life looks like. The people want to feel the thrill of it, want to feel the ups and downs without actually living it, even though they might write it in the comments, oh, I would love to live the life you live. But I tell you, you would not want to live the same life as he does, even though you write it in the comment. Another example that I picked is more of a niche thing. You might not know him, but I still think it's interesting because he was a sudden uprise in popularity around this person. He is called Clavicular Online. He's also a content creator, and he has the twist. He wants to maximize his looks. He's going extreme measurements. He's taking certain supplements, I would call them. I don't know. If you know, you know. And he also wants to undergo surgery because his looks are very important to him. This is also quite interesting. People want to become more prettier, want to have more self-confidence, and they are going certain measurements, but only to a point. And if there's someone that is going over this point, then people want to follow this. People want to see it. That's why he suddenly become also more famous and more normal than others. Those two examples, they are doing things that are, I wouldn't say abnormal, but different than to what a normal person is perceiving. Hence, it makes this whole thing interesting to watch. And also planting the seed in their heads of the viewer. If I do the exact same thing, I must become successful as well. But let me tell you, it is not that easy. Actually, if it would be really that easy, then everybody could pick up their phone, record themselves, post it online, and become successful as Kai Cenat, for example. If it would be really that easy, then they could also gamble as much as they want and become a multimillionaire like Togi did. But for most, the people would lose all of their money. There's always a certain burden attached to success stories. I do understand that we all want to be more than normal, and I include myself here with it, with all of you, basically. But I think that we should first of all twist how we think about normality. The definition of normal changes century to century. For some time it was very normal to ride on the back of a horse. Nowadays it is quite normal to just go by car and drive it. There's though a difference between normal and natural. While normal is the inherent standard of society made by advances and comfort, natural is really inherently human. It is inherently who you are. It is your nature, the nature of mankind. It is quite natural to try to obtain power, to try to be different than others, even via extreme measurements. It is nowadays normal to try to do this via the internet, which is was not always possible, hence it's not the nature of mankind, but it is normal in this type of society. Even if something is seen as normal nowadays, doesn't make it normal in 20 years. Okay, it changes over time and time. This means to be different or to not be normal means to be just yourself, to align with your own nature and be yourself. This would already make yourself very different and very unnormal to most other people. Like, let's make it some numbers, like 90% of population. If we just move against the streams of what is seen as normal in society, we will already be different. We will already be ourselves, hence not normal, but natural. If everybody would be themselves, I would say that there is no such thing as normal, but everybody would just be natural. So we will be different. And in the end, there's only one question that you can answer yourself and that you need to know. And this is, who are you and who do you want to be? And hence you will already be different than others.